Your alarm clock. Arguably the worst sound you can wake up to. So why are some people so tired when they wake up? What is their body losing when they're not sleeping? What is it gaining when they do fall asleep? The National Sleep Foundation recommends that 18 to 25-year-olds get around 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. But sleep can be inconvenient for college students. There are always much more pressing things to do, and time can be precious.
I usually get like 10 hours of sleep a night and try to go to bed at 11.
Usually I get 6 hours of sleep and I go to bed around 1.
9 hours of sleep and go to bed around 11 o'clock.
I normally get 6 hours of sleep and I go to bed around 3.
About 8 hours of sleep and I go to bed around 9.
Typically I get about 12 hours of sleep. I try to go to bed by 1.
Go to bed between 1 and 2 and get 6 hours of sleep a night.
Let's take a closer look at just what happens as soon as we fall asleep. During the early stages of sleep, one of the first things to happen is the release of a growth hormone. It's produced and released in our brains by the anterior pituitary gland and then distributed throughout our bloodstream. This hormone promotes healthy growth and development in our bodies as our cells and tissues are repaired. Next, our immune system secretes a broad group of signaling proteins known as cytokines. These proteins help fight off infections in our bodies and help strengthen our body's defense mechanisms. Adequate sleep helps you wake up feeling perky and refreshed because your body is able to lower its levels of cortisol, which is a stress hormone. On the other hand, when you're sleep deprived, your levels of glucose become alarmingly high, which puts you at an increased risk for heart disease and diabetes. Also, your levels of leptin, a hormone that makes you feel full, become very low, while your levels of ghrelin, a hormone that makes you feel hungry, become very high, putting you at an increased risk for obesity because you're feeling hungry when you're not really hungry at all. So why do different people need different amounts of sleep? Why do some rely on caffeine, others on naps, and others seem to run off no sleep at all?
I usually feel pretty good throughout the day, don't really get that groggy.
I really feel terrible all the time.
I feel great throughout the day and always well rested.
I'm really tired throughout the day and I nap a lot.
I feel really energized and I feel really productive the next day.
I feel tired a lot of the time, no matter how much sleep I get, and I feel really drained throughout the day and very hungry.
I'm usually pretty tired throughout the day, but I feel really awake at night.
It is widely accepted that besides age, the one thing that determines how much sleep you as an individual need is unfortunately genetics. As humans, our internal clocks are set to about 24 hours. But if your clock runs faster than 24 hours, you're known as a lark and you wake up early. But if your clock runs more slowly, then you tend to be an owl and you go to bed later, hence the term night owl. So if you're someone who always feels like you could use a nap or a cup of coffee, there unfortunately isn't too much you can do to change your genetics. But as we've learned, sleep is very important, so the National Sleep Foundation has some recommendations to try if you want to improve the quality of your sleep. Try your best to limit your caffeine intake, especially right before bed. Consuming caffeine will only stimulate your brain, thus keeping you awake longer. Choose a mattress that's comfortable for you and pair it with quality pillows and bedding. Comfortable bedding helps you physically feel better after a good night's sleep. Try your best to stick to the same sleeping schedule even on weekends. This will help set your body's internal clock and let it stick to that pattern. Unplug from your electronics and opt for a book instead. This reduction of light will help tell your body that it's nighttime and it's time to go to bed. Optimize the aura and temperature in your room. Make it somewhere you enjoy and somewhere you want to fall asleep. If you're still struggling to fall asleep at night, visit the National Sleep Foundation at theNSF.org for more tips and tricks.